for parents that were not there, you shouldn't ever have to come back and claim anything about that child. And that goes for any family, period.
There could be a lot of circumstances as to why your parent is absent in your life, and sometimes it could either be like voluntary or involuntary.
Involuntary, yeah.
So you would have to first of all consider the situation, the reason as to why that parent was not present in your life. Yeah.
If the woman is abusive too, if the woman is neglectful, or if she's, some people are just bad mothers. Mm. Hello, y'all. Welcome to another episode of Reality and Repeat. Today, I'm going to be hosting this episode, and obviously, most of you guys know me, but for those that don't know, my name is Mem, and I'll be co-hosting with the baddest, biggest bosses, Bados,
Bado, Bertain.
Bertain.
Most people know me as Bado.
Yep. Welcome. So welcome to another episode. As always, thank you guys for being here with us so far. We appreciate your help, your support, the comments, the likes, the subscriptions,
Everything.
sharing, so everything.
Yeah.
And for those that are new here, please remember to follow us. If you already haven't, follow us on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and subscribe to our YouTube channel.
Yeah.
I hope I said everything this
Yeah,
time.
you did. Yeah. It's always a pleasure to meet you guys. This is our own way of reconnecting with you guys. So thank you
Yes.
guys for supporting us always.
Yep. And as always, we're going to start with some icebreaker questions. And Bado said he has more spicy questions for me. So, what's your first question?
I always come with the spice, y'all. But my first question is, it's a would you rather game.
Okay.
So, would you rather have a partner who is emotionally unavailable but successful, or who is broke but gives you full emotional support?
Successful, emotionally unavailable, broke, and no emotion, and all emotional support.
Yes.
Can I find a partner in the middle?
No. You gotta pick one. You gotta pick one.
I don't know, man. I'm gonna have to go with. I can't deal. It's kind of like two impossible situations because it's like, why is he broke? That's the first question, right?
Yeah.
Why are you broke? But if you're
Yes.
broke because you're working on yourself or you're in school and not just sitting your ass home, that's
But he's
fine.
gonna always be broke.
Always be broke.
Yeah, you cannot
Hell
change it.
no.
Okay,
I'd
but
rather someone that's successful and emotionally unavailable.
oh my god.
But emotionally unavailable is crazy because that's also something I can't deal with. Emotionally unavailable people. So that's why I said there are two impossible situations.
You gotta pick one.
I'll go with emotionally unavailable. What are we gonna eat if you're broke? What are you gonna do?
You have a point. You have a point. I always say money runs the relationship at the end of the day.
Course.
You need money for the relationship
What
too.
about you?
You already know at the end of the day.
Mr. Money.
Yeah,
I'll start calling you Mr. Money with the
stop calling.
vibes.
No, I beg. You make it people feel like, but yeah, you can be for me, not the money. You can be broke and be emotionally available. Because
Oh,
I don't
Oh
know if I
yeah,
can
more
deal with a
like the
partner.
man, all that stuff. So the
Yeah.
dynamic. So that's a cheap question for you.
Yeah, yeah.
My question is not a would you rather. I just brought like very simple questions today because I
Mhm.
was kind of last minute. But if you were on a deserted island with which two people would you want to be stranded with?
Do we have to like escape the highlight the island,
Nigga, you're
or
on
we
a
just
deserted island.
so
Obviously,
it's
you would
just we
have
just
to
enjoy?
reconnect with humans at some point. But let's say you're there for a month. Which two people would you pick to be there with?
I mean, Stickle was the first person. Shout out to my guy Stickle.
Ooh,
Yeah,
okay.
he's one of the people I
Bestie
trust.
vibes.
Yeah, Stickle, and then I don't know. Uh, who would be the second person that I'll pick?
That should be
I'm
easy
thinking if
now.
I should,
Shouldn't it be easy?
how would it be easy? Like my partner or what?
Yeah. You don't want to be stranded with your partner?
That's what I'm thinking about the being stranded with a lady. I was thinking about being stranded with another lady, or just two guys, because with two guys then you guys can work together and get out. That's what I was asking, if you have to escape, or if you're just there for
So
a month,
it's you and two other people.
just spending time on the island, and then you leave.
Obviously, you have to survive. What are you gonna eat? You guys have to sleep, protect yourself.
I'll say my partner. I mean, I don't have a partner right now, but in that case, it would have to be like my partner, because she'll have to cook. I don't know. Yeah.
On the island, that's what
Yes.
you're worried about.
Of
Your ass
course,
better
you need
be
to survive.
lighting that fire and putting that fish on the list.
You need to survive. Yeah.
What's your next question, bro?
Okay.
Look at you, don't talk, forget.
I was a little bit. I was going, guys. I was a little bit in the.
Yeah,
Yeah, thinking a lot.
in the
But
groove.
would you rather wake up every morning to a slap in the face, or randomly have your phone die once a day?
My phone already dies once a day.
Oh my god.
So that's super easy. My phone dies when I'm home beside a charger. It's crazy. So anybody that knows me knows that. But what are you even talking about? Every time I come here, isn't my phone dying?
Yeah, you always want to charge your phone.
Exactly.
Every time she walks into the studio, is like, can I have a charger?
Yeah, because my phone's always dead. So no. I'll
take the phone, just because those slaps every morning, and
I know, right?
my
Like,
jaw will be swollen.
imagine
But I don't want to have my phone
partner
dying.
slapping you, a whole man slapping me. Wow.
I don't want to have my phone die in the middle, but I'll take the phone dying over a slap every morning. Woke up some morning, I see a jaw don't come out.
And if not me, give a slap, you know, dear. That's your hard. So if you went to jail today, what would be the crime you committed?
What would be the crime I committed?
Yeah. What would be the reason anyway that you went to jail today?
What reason would I rather?
No, if you went to jail today, what's the first reason that people would guess?
Are you okay that they will guess?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, because I think you're asking like what would be like something that I've done that would
exactly that.
You want me to just just confess to like a crime on
I'm
camera?
not saying no. It's like what
more
is
likely like people would think, like,
what's the most likely thing that you would do to land
Wording.
Please, Bado, answer the question.
Okay. What would it be? I want you guys to tell me in the comment section, like, what do you guys think would actually take me to jail if I get locked up? But let me think.
Your lazy ass.
Let me think.
Bado is so lazy, man. When he's seated on that chair.
Go ahead. Not lazy.
Super lazy.
Let me think. I don't know. What would it be?
Or maybe getting on my nerve.
Yeah, maybe getting on your nerves.
Getting on my nerve. It will get you to jail.
Because I can't really think of something that would actually land me in jail. Like, be the first thing that I would think of. Like,
I think my mouth.
Maybe my mouth.
Yeah, my mouth. Because, I mean, like, I respect authority, but I also ask questions. Even so, people usually interpret it as questioning authority. But
yeah, that type of person.
I don't question authority. I ask questions, and those with the ego trip like to mix it up. So that's their problem, not mine. So that's definitely going to align
your mouth. I'm with you on that one.
No, people's ego, because of my mouth, will land me in prison. Let's put it like that.
Let's leave it like that. At least it sounds good for you. Makes you look good. Yeah.
All right, yo. That's it. That's all our icebreaker. Did you have another question? No plus one.
Or still.
All right. I was just making sure now.
Oh no. Next time I'll give you a bonus.
I don't want it.
You started to enjoy my questions.
Hell no.
Makes you think. It makes you think a lot.
The first one, yeah, but the second one was easy.
Okay.
Without further ado, guys, because me and Badu can go back and forth with this for hours. So today we're going to be our topic for today is going to be exploring the impact of parental abandonment and the complexities of reconnecting later in life. And more or less, like I know we had I think about last week or a couple weeks ago, we had the thing with Ashake, for example, and his dad that came on.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure how true it is about his dad being absent, early on in his life.
Yeah, but like that was like one of the reasons that made us like pick this topic. And then also we had the episode where we talked about entitlement and people were like, because Roland said your parents are not entitled to your money, and so I mean it was
It
kind
was
of
kind of
mixed. It was
controversial for.
because some
I
people were
thought that was
like,
easy,
yeah, some
but
people were like your parents should be, and others were like your parents should not. So that was like one of the reasons why
yeah,
we kind
want
of picked this
to
topic
pick
and
and
maybe go a little bit more in depth.
yell into parents, yeah, but not just like parents being well, yeah, because it's a sense of entitlement
It
because you're
is.
biologically my dad, even though you are not there, you're entitled to whatever I am.
Yeah.
So yeah. um I'm gonna start first of all, and like I'm gonna go with the logical answer. No, that's not logical because most of you guys, whenever I talk with you guys in the comment section, sometimes it's just like logic.
Yeah. Nobody's thinking at that
Yeah,
time.
yeah, no logic. No, I'm thinking.
Oh, oh,
Yeah, but it's just I just feel that if you were not there, if you chose, because it's different if I mean, if you pass, your ghost is not going to come back and try and claim the child or
of
anything.
course, of
But if
course.
you maybe was in jail, or yeah, that's the only, or kidnapped for 20 years or however long it was that you were not there. I feel like those are the only, very few extreme circumstances, illness. But then you should still be communicating with your family, communicating with your kids, trying to let them know. But I know like parents are
Hmm.
still people, they're still human. So they're not perfect. And sometimes I know that they make decisions that they think that they're trying to protect you, but
Yeah,
it's selfish
it's selfish. That's true.
because the choice should be yours on whether you want to stick through that situation, right?
Or
Or
not.
or not,
Yeah.
yeah. So I just feel that for parents that were not there, you shouldn't ever have to come back and claim anything about that child. And that goes for any family, period. Like if you didn't contribute in the upbringing of the child, when the child grows up, successful or not, it's not in your place to claim a relationship or ask for a relationship or feel entitled to a relationship with that child.
I have a question, right? So
Mm-hmm.
what if it's a situation where let's say um one of your parents kept you away from the other one?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Like it could be their fault, it could still not be their fault. Let's say you did something, you hurt the other partner,
Mm-hmm.
and the partner now has a, I don't know, I want to say like retaliation or revenge, something like that. They keep the
Mm-hmm.
kid away from you.
Mm-hmm.
And then now if that kid grows up and you try to come back to the kid's life, are you now entitled to like a relationship? Like let's say you wanted to be there at that point, but your partner wouldn't let you be in your kid's
I
life.
mean, I feel like also most of the times with most kids, most people that I know even, they go back looking for their parent, the absent parent anyway. But I feel like kids can tell a lot of things, right? Not every kid is easily manipulated or influenced to completely hate the other parent, especially when we grow up and we realize, like, oh, our parents are not the gods that we think that they were.
Yeah, well, yeah.
So then we start to see life a lot, that a life is a lot more complex than, the naive way or the narrow way that we saw life before. So I feel that first of all, keeping your child away from their parent because you all have a bad relationship or because you feel a certain type of way is wrong.
There's this
I
there's
think fundamentally it is wrong,
it,
but I do feel that if the parent was abusive, because even to the child, because there's some parents that are abusive to the mother and the child, and if you're abusive to the mother, I feel like you're most likely to be abusive to your kids too, because they're even kids now. You feel like a bigger level of control over them. So I can understand why a mom or
would want to
dad
keep the kid
want to
away
keep the
from.
kid away, because sometimes, as we said, like you just
Yeah,
want to
when
try and shelter
when I
their kids
say
away.
when I say doing something right, I don't mean like, I mean obviously that one we can't really say like the mom has every right to protect the kid in that situation, but I mean like a situation where let's say things didn't work out in the relationship.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, if things don't work out in the relationship, and sometimes like not just because not just on the mom's part, let's say the mom was not really into the relationship, because now when we say that, a lot of people feel like it's the man who like who was the one who was kept away from the kid by
Mm-hmm.
maybe the mom.
Yeah,
But there are also situations, could be situations where let's say the woman is kept away
especially
from the
back
kid. Let's
home.
say she's
Yeah,
not, yes,
especially
especially
even
back
back
home.
home.
Yes,
Yeah,
it's a common thing when you go to like
yeah.
Africa. It's a common thing for the man to be the one to keep the
Keep the
child.
kids.
Yeah.
Yeah,
as opposed to like the Western world. So situations like that, also the man keeps the kid away from the mom, and if the mom grows up, she's gonna want to like be in the
Mm-hmm.
child's life.
Yeah.
So that's why I was I've kind of lost my chain of thought.
So you're trying to ask the question for that specific.
Yes, not just related to like the man, but also like the woman as well, because you talked about like being abusive and
I
stuff.
mean, women can be very abusive too.
Yeah,
There's women that get very physical with men, and abuse. It's not only physical, it's also mental, and you get to a point where you're just like, So when I said abuse, like I know most of the things that we say, it always leans towards man, woman type thing, but both genders can abuse each other, even so my question was not just, or my answer was not just directed
towards the
towards,
man.
yeah,
Okay,
because
yeah,
if the woman is abusive too, if the woman is neglectful, or if she's, some people are just bad mothers. I don't want to say bad mothers, but they don't know how to mother.
that's true.
So
That's true.
if they're toxic too, it's like, or you're a drug addict or
I was gonna hit
something
on that
like
one.
that, then yeah, it makes sense for you to try and shield your
Kids
kids.
away from the
You
mom.
know, when they grow up, they will try to understand. They can understand. Or one thing is like, most people, it's like, oh yeah, because I feel like sometimes even, right, the person that suffers the most is the person that keeps the child primarily, because the child then grows up, you're the one that has to parent them.
Yeah.
And especially for parents that are strict, the child thinks, oh, things are brighter on the other side, especially if you had legit reasons for not being with, the other parent. And then they grow up now and they're like, oh, I want to move in with this other person. And then you go and realize, oh,
Oh yeah.
shit, maybe she wasn't exaggerating, maybe he wasn't exaggerating. This person is, kind of almost effed up. So
Sure.
it just depends. What's your take on it?
Yeah, for me, I'm just gonna say like we've talked about, there could be a lot of circumstances as to why your parent is absent in your life, and sometimes it could either be like voluntary
Mm-hmm.
or involuntary.
Involuntarily, yeah.
So you would have to first of all consider the situation, the reason as to why that parent was not present in your life
Mm-hmm.
growing up,
Yeah.
before you feel like, because if I have a kid with, let's say, a lady,
Mm-hmm.
and we break up, and she, because like I said, we live in a Western world,
Mm-hmm.
this happens back home where the man can just take the kid, but
Mm-hmm.
in the Western world, most of the time the woman gets to keep the kid.
Mm-hmm.
So now if I'm not given like enough access to spend time with my kid and raise them and stuff, and then they grow up, or maybe even I'm not even in their life at all, and they grow up, I'm gonna still like, most times you're gonna be in that situation where you feel like you'd want to be entitled, you'd want to get to know that kid. So I feel like that's a situation where your parent can be entitled to like,
Yeah.
you,
Mm-hmm.
because they were not there involuntary. But
Well,
if yes, but if you voluntarily decided not to be in your kid's life, then that's a situation where you cannot be like, okay. And at the end of the day, it boils down to the kid, because if the kid still does not want you in their life,
then they
there's
don't want
nothing
you.
you can really do.
Yeah.
Just like going back to like the whole
Ashake
Ashake thing.
situation, yeah.
Yes, where the parent was like, he should do this, he should do that. I heard something about he should buy a $50 million house, a
That
50
was that
million
was
naira
crazy
house,
though.
or put tenants and stuff. But yeah, I'm not gonna go too deep into people's
Yeah.
family matters. But like situations like that, it boils down to him.
Yeah.
If he, and at the end of the day, still, you could raise your kid, and I'm not saying this is right. You could raise your kid, and if you try to be in that kid's life and the kid does not want you in their life, there's no reason to go about it. It's gonna hurt.
Yeah.
But it
And
shouldn't be a case where you're going on social media and doing
that's
all of
exactly what
that.
I was about to say.
Yes, you shouldn't
Yeah.
go around like making it look like the kid is bad and stuff like that.
They
Respect
have
his
their reasons.
decisions.
Yeah.
Respect his decisions, and let him or her be. Let them be.
Yeah, I think it comes down again to like the entitlement issue that we talked about. And a lot of this also is with like, the black, especially with us, with our first generation people here, or with people with family back home. It's like the black tax,
Yeah.
where it's like your family raised you, and so therefore you have to pay back the
Payback.
family
Yeah.
for taking care of you. So a lot of that can be very, it's a burden sometimes, you
It's
know.
it's
Like even if your auntie that just watch you maybe a couple, I mean, I'm not saying that it's a small thing to do, but you watch me a couple weekends and now all of a sudden I need to take care of you when you're older because, you know, I'm more successful, or, you know, I just don't think people should be that much, and anybody should be that much entitled to any other person's
yeah.
wealth. Yeah.
And it's crazy because like a lot of people wouldn't know this,
Hmm.
but when you go like back home Africa, there's something common with Africans. I always like to refer back to us. If
Let's
you go
talk
like,
about Cameroonians.
yes, Cameroonians, but I just like to generalize it.
Yeah.
But if you go like to Cameroon, now it's starting to change, but like a lot of people don't know about bride price.
Mm-hmm.
And that's something that for like the bride price pretty much is like if you raise a daughter, you have a daughter, right?
Mm-hmm.
And she's about to get married, the groom is supposed to
Go pay
go pay
the
a
family.
family. Yes, sometimes it's money, sometimes it could include like material things. They have like
They have a list.
yeah, they have a list, and then they have to share it to like family members and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't pay it, you're not getting married to their daughter.
Well,
You will
traditional,
not
yeah.
pluck that fruit from that compound. You will not pluck that mango from that tree.
The fruit, the flower will unbloom.
Yes. Yes. So because like here people just you just go to court, you just wake up one morning and then you feel like you want to get married to this person, you just go to court and sign it, and then you guys move on with your life. Back home, you have to go through this process, go through that. You settle this one, settle this one, settle this one, settle this
Yep.
one. And I actually saw one video where there was this guy who went to get married to his wife in Nigeria, and the family asked for 1 million naira. And the
Mm.
guy was like, he doesn't have this, not paying that money. And it was a whole argument and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And he went back, like that was it. That was it for the relationship because the family asked for that, and the guy said he was not paying for it. He was not gonna pay it.
Yeah. First of all, I'm so against the concept of bride prices anyway, because I mean, I know most of it right now is just traditional things, symbolism, not the way that it used to be. But I still just think that it's wrong in my opinion anyway. I'm not saying for the bashers that like, oh, you must pay, you must pay. I mean, that's y'all's problem anyway. But my opinion is I'm so against it. I don't think that you can put a price on anybody's head.
For
I
me,
like
I
it's
don't think it should actually be like a price because at the end of the day, I always say like we have to still respect our tradition. You get,
yeah.
we still have to respect our tradition. To me, it's pretty much just a sign of respect.
Yeah.
It's just a sign of respect.
E-
So, but don't make it seem like you're trying to put a price tag on that person's head. Like you be like, you have to buy this, you have to buy. If you don't buy that, you will not get married to our daughter. Well, now you guys want to get married and then go and eat what? What like you want to send your daughter into hunger?
yeah.
Do you want to send your daughter into hunger? Imagine you finish paying all of those, and then you go back home and you don't have enough money to continue your lives.
Yeah, I mean, I know like you said the thing with tradition, blah blah blah. Yeah, I'm a very big proponent of culture, but I'm also a very big proponent of like, or I hold the belief that culture is suits a way of life for a group of people in a certain time, and it's okay for culture to evolve. You know, it's okay for us to respect, you know, things that our ancestors practice that are still beneficial for us, but it's also okay to move on from certain things. And I feel like the bride price thing is something that I fundamentally don't agree with anyway.
At all.
Tradition at all, yeah. Because even just from the name, I feel like it's derogatory. Just imagine telling some, you know, my friends over here that um my husband is coming to pay my bride price. What's the bride price? How do I logically explain that to someone?
Well,
I mean,
you can just
in a symbolic way, but for me, I just feel like I can't. I just don't feel like anybody can put a price on anyone anyway, and that should not be happening.
that's what I said at the end of the day, it's just like tradition, just formalities.
Yeah, of course. Like for some cultures,
Well, it should be. Let me
yeah,
put it
it
that way. It
should
should
be.
be
It should
just
be,
like a
but
formality,
not
but not like
everybody. Yeah, not everybody follows that. But I feel like, I mean, I think maybe it's just a little bit of westernization in me, you know,
I
because
guess.
maybe we can change it to a different name. You know, knock door sounds better. it's knocked door, right? Where
Yeah,
you
it's
go
knocked
to get,
door.
yeah,
It's
I
knocked
like that.
door.
Sounds a lot better to me than a
But
bride
knocked door is
price.
like when you go and then you receive like the list for the bride price and everything, and you still
Yeah,
have to pay that.
exactly.
But let's not
I,
dwell too much on that bride price thing.
yeah.
But going back to our topic, and then like we talked about the entitlement, like parents being entitled to their parents' life, and then when it comes to like finances, I just want to clarify that this point because we talked about it last time,
Mm-hmm.
and we were all in agreement, and I think the reason why, not that I'm thinking, but the reason why we actually said like parents are not entitled to your money is because you cannot, let's say you grow up tomorrow and then your parent is like, you have to give me this, you have to do this for me, you
Yeah.
have to do that for me because I raised you. No, it doesn't have to be like that. As any reasonable kid who grew up in a house where your parents like sacrificed a lot for you, you have morals and you have values. You will know that it's the right thing for you to help your parents, for you to support your parents as much as you can.
Absolutely.
That's the key word, as much as you can. But don't kill yourself because you're trying to support your family, you're trying to support your parents and stuff. Don't spend all your money on them and then tomorrow you're in the streets.
Yep. Or
Yes.
your life yesterday is not better than your life today. And it's almost like you're living your life for your parents again, after they've sacrificed everything for you. It's another cycle. And then your kids will have to come back to the same cycle of doing the same things
Same
again.
thing. Yeah.
Yeah, I just feel like I totally agree. Back home is kind of a little bit different because like retirement plans are different, right? Not
Yeah.
a lot of, like, here you can do your 401k, different Roth IRA savings account. Most of that is really I think back home is maybe translated into like parents investing into your education. For them, they see it as like, okay, this is my retirement plan, which I feel like a lot of parents need to change that mindset.
My
Yeah,
investment.
yeah. I feel like what you do for your parents when they're old should be like an additional thing. Like, oh, I really appreciate the things. Like, not to say like, parents can go through hard times and you support them too. Just like, your friends and all that. And any other family members like your brothers, sisters, like they can go through hard
But
times even in their old age too, and
yeah,
you
at the
support
end of the
them.
day, I'm gonna say it just depends on situations because not every
Yeah.
situation is always gonna be the same.
But
Your
there's
parents could probably retire and they have more than you even.
yeah,
But now,
exactly.
if you go like back home, you've said like retirement is not a common thing for everybody,
Yeah.
except you actually worked for the government.
Government, yeah.
Yes, back home, which sometimes you don't even get their pension. Please pay those parents' pension. Sometimes you don't get it. Like you go after it for like 4 or 5 years, and then you end up dying, and then the government just keeps it away. Like
Yeah.
that's something common.
Or
They don't
one
want to pay your
uncle is cashing your
is cashing out your pension. Yes, please. Yeah, like back home, most of our parents didn't get to work for like the government and stuff, so they don't have pensions.
Yeah.
So it's right, if you can support them, you should support them. But
Yeah,
all I'll
absolutely.
say is like, do what you can afford to do.
Yeah.
Do what you can afford
Don't
to do.
break
Don't
bank,
don't
bro.
break bank. And even here, even you still have parents here who did not make enough. Like some parents, for instance, we talked about parents who end up having jobs because of circumstances,
Mm-hmm.
and sometimes they don't have the luxury of like having the 401k, the Roth IRA, and retirement funds and stuff like that. And they still have to work in their old age. If your parent is working in their old age and you can do like you can support them, do it,
Yeah.
but don't break the bank because you're trying to support your parents.
Yeah, I mean, like you wanting to do something for your parents is one thing, right? It's responsibility, it's, taking ownership. But I feel like irrespective of the situation, parents should not feel entitled
Absolutely,
to your
absolutely.
wealth or anything. Cause I don't even know why people are arguing about this thing. Like, it's the dynamic. Like, you choose to have kids, right? And you have to, as
You
Roland
choose
said,
to take that shot.
yeah, yeah, you do. So you should be able to. You should
Don't take that shot if you're not ready.
yeah, you're having 5, 10 kids, and you can't take care of them. That's
It's
you
your
being,
investment. It's
yeah.
your
That's
investment.
that. No, people are not
I mean,
assets. Yeah, no,
I'm
I'm no,
being
yeah,
sarcastic.
yeah. But I'm just saying, like, parents should stop seeing kids like assets, and it's not in your place for the kid to, because then how would the child improve? Because the goal is for every generation to be better than
The
the
previous
previous
generation.
generation.
Yeah.
So if we come back with the same formula of having to do the same things that you did for your parents, breaking bank because of lack, poor financial planning. I get like some circumstances where it's just, bad luck, you know, circumstances, but it's poor financial planning sometimes where you're just living in the moment. Like you say, oh, back in the day, my dad used to have money. What happened to all that money? Right?
My dad was a former rich man.
Yeah, former rich man, like old glory. Like, no, you should be responsible enough instead of thinking, oh, my child is gonna grow up and take care of me. My child is gonna do that. Like, that also puts a lot of pressure on kids.
True.
Like, I have my own family now in the same way that you had yours. So let me focus on raising my family instead of, worrying about your well-being and all that stuff. We already have to worry about you anyway, but to add that additional financial responsibility, emotional responsibility,
that entitlement,
yeah, like the entitlement is just, it's crazy, man. So with
and
most of it,
sometimes it's not just it doesn't just stagnate people.
mm-hmm.
It's also like it takes a mental toll.
Yeah,
because you're always thinking like, I have to do this for my parents, I have to
mm-hmm.
do this for my parents, I have to do this for my parents. And if you cannot even afford it and your parent is constantly putting that pressure on you, it's like it's playing in your mind. Like you're constantly thinking about the fact that, okay, should I do this?
I don't
Or should
even
I
know why
not do it?
this particular topic or this particular point was so controversial. I thought it was like simple, like sense. Like, yes, it's your responsibility, right, to like take care of people that came before you that took care of you, but they shouldn't feel entitled to it because they gave birth to you. Like, it's so simple. I don't know why people kept going back and forth talking about like the commandments and all that. Yeah, of course we all know the commandments. Who went to school in Cameroon and does not know all the 10 commandments? Honor your mother and father. We know that. So why y'all preaching it so hard? We know that we have to do
they
it.
said honor your mother and your father, not spend all your
Spend
money
all
on
your
your
money on
mother
your
and
mother
your
and
father.
father. Come on, guys. Let's be real.
Right?
Yeah.
So if you find yourself in that situation, like, how do you do it? Like, respectfully, make your parents understand that, okay, they're doing too much.
Boundaries.
But like, for instance, African parents, or let me say, African American parents, so sometimes you can't just address them in a certain type of way. Like, how do you go about it?
I mean,
Because
especially
some of them might take it like, for like what you said, because it was clearly explained in the clip. But if you want to explain to your parent, that your parent will like, okay, so you're saying that you cannot give me your money and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That's what you're going to say?
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. if you're gonna put it like that, yeah. But I mean, obviously, we know where we come from. We can never talk to our parents disrespectfully. Even now, like with my mom, when I say certain things, my mom turns and looks at me.
You
like,
that eye.
Damn, what did I do? I'm sorry. Like, like I'm sorry. You stop apologizing for things that you did not even.
That eye.
Yeah.
That eye. That Africa.
And my mom got it too. Like, when she mad, you're like, damn, lady. Yeah.
You just adjust.
You just have to
adjust.
But yeah, it's just explaining it strictly. Like, yo, this is the situation. Like, I got my own life. I got things to do. Like, and even now, start encouraging your parents even now to start saving if they haven't, because at least now the little though they can save on to whenever they need it, when they can't work no more. It's still important than you doing 100% of the work. So encouraging them to save just a little, here and there, and really it's just telling them the what's up. Like, yo, it's not gonna be sweet the way that you think it is. Like, obviously I'm gonna support you, but I'm not gonna take care of you the way I'm taking care of a kid. I have a life to build. Certain things have to be on the back burner. We can't prioritize that right now.
Yeah,
and I
sure.
can't prioritize you.
Yeah.
I have to prioritize my future. If I get to a certain point, obviously, like, I'll give you certain things, but it's not that you're entitled to it. I still don't feel that you should come to me and say, I have to. No, I won't.
Don't go and talk to your parents anyhow.
I don't talk to my mom anyhow.
I'm
so if
going
you
to
guys
talk
like
to your parents anyhow, because yeah, she's talking to her. She's sounding here. At home, she will probably be different.
No.
My uncle is of late May, so rest in peace. He used to watch TV and then he'll put the remote and go to sleep. Put CRTV, go to sleep. We'll come and grab the remote, like, walk calm and then grab the remote. As soon as you change it, he wakes up and he just looks at you.
Then you gotta change it back.
You just give him the remote. Like, at the end of the day, I feel like that was one of the things that things like that made us grow up like responsible.
Yeah.
Like
I never got why parents did that shit though. Like that was so
it was
lame.
I feel like
But
it was way better than actually laying your hands on your kids sometimes. It was more effective
no, no,
sometimes.
no. I'm not even saying about like the looking, them sleeping, and
Okay,
then
I'm
you
sleeping
can't
and
change the TV
yeah.
or
Go
damn.
on study.
I know, right?
Go
That
on
was one of the
study.
things
Yeah.
too. We used to hide under the table and sleep. Yeah, but I mean, irrespective of the situation, you should never be disrespectful to your parents. That's
True.
one thing too. It's like
Yeah. Just tell them
we're all
respectfully.
mature,
Try to make them understand that okay. Because there's times when I have like that conversation with my
parents.
dad
Yeah,
as well, my parents as well. Like I tell them not that I mean like I tell them that you guys should just know that at some point also I'm going to have to start my family, and then
yeah.
like some of the things I do for you guys I might
I
not be able to like
do it. Yeah,
do stuff like that. But we have it in a respectful way. So just try to make them understand. Especially if you have like if you have reasonable parents, because some parents are just not reasonable and they don't
hmm
try to understand where you're coming from. But if your parents are reasonable and you approach them in a respectful manner, you try to make them understand where you're coming from. I feel like every parent will get it.
yeah. Of
At the end of the day,
course,
every parent will
yeah.
get it. But don't just abandon them at the end of the day. Do what you can.
I mean,
Yeah.
always make your parents feel special. That's one thing too, especially your parents. I mean, irrespective. If you just have a present parent, you had a present parent growing up, even if they didn't suffer, like even if your parents were rich,
Yeah.
try to do little things here
For
and
them.
there
Just yeah,
to make them
it's
feel
like they usually
special.
talk about
Yeah.
like being with a partner who's rich. Like, what do you do for them? Like, just
Anything.
gestures.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's just the gestures. It's
Do
not even
any
about what you're giving. Like, it's not even. It's just the gestures, the little things.
Exactly. So just do little things for your parents here and there. Like it doesn't have to be grand gestures all the time. That way they also feel like you appreciate them, you love them. And when you can, do those grand gestures because most of them do deserve it. Most of them
They
did
do.
sacrifice a lot for all of us to be where we are today.
Sure.
So we should do our best for them, but the point of the thing is they shouldn't feel like it's something that you
You
have
have
to
to.
do it.
Yeah.
It's as a responsible child, you should always look back at the people that supported you when you're growing up. That's friends and family too,
Sure.
not just your parents. So I think we can end that on that note.
I agree. I agree.
All right, guys. Thank you guys for tuning in on this episode. I know a lot of you guys came for me last time. One even called me stingy in the comment section. I spoil my mom as much as I can, so calling me stingy is wild. But anyhow, I'll
She's a
take
good
it.
girl, y'all.
It doesn't matter whether you guys think I'm bad, I'm good. It doesn't really matter. Only my mom's judgment really matters in this situation, right? Yeah. So
Sure.
keep
Your
your
mom's judgment and mine.
yeah. You
Yeah, mine are. I mean, that I'm go ahead. So, yeah,
please.
mine doesn't matter. I'll
But
tell them
those
next time that you're stingy.
but those absolutely does not matter. Please drop your opinion in the comment section as always. Please, please, please be reasonable this time with us. Oh,
Yes.
don't I mean like still drop your opinion. I know most of you guys have it, but just be a little bit more reasonable about these things.
Sure.
And when it comes to entitlement, because I feel like most of you guys that even arguing are actually entitled. It's not even your parents. It's you
They are
guys.
planning for their own kids.
Yeah, you're the ones that
They don't want their kids to grow up and
they don't want me to advise your kids.
yes. They are planning for their own investments,
Yeah, so
their
drop
own
your
returns.
opinion and hopefully we expanded on this topic a lot more and um just drop what you think about it. Follow us again on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and don't forget to subscribe on our YouTube channel. Thank you guys for staying on this episode with us.
Yeah, thank you guys very much and see you guys on our next episode. Bye.
Bye guys.